Thinking of playing Braccio da Montone, and the battle here is Sant'Egidio 1416. Okay, so two notes. This first one, this is the unit that was destroyed in the charge here, the charge against this hex right here. Pretty obvious, pretty obvious mistake. I think I'm almost positive. I did not go back and watch the video. I'm pretty sure I rolled the die and I subtracted the die roll from the units. I think the unit was already disrupted. I think the unit was already disrupted. In any case, its cohesion rating there is 4. I think I took 3 and subtracted it from 4. Actually, of course, it's the reverse. You're subtracting the current cohesion rating from the die roll. Okay, so obviously that would be -1. And then in most cases, I believe, you have a 1 cohesion hit minimum rule. So if the difference is less than or equal to 0, like in this case, the unit takes 1 cohesion hit. This is the 1 cohesion hit minimum rule. I don't think it would have changed any of that. I mean, the unit still would have been destroyed as we went through before, but I definitely explained that disruption die roll wrong. And then here, yeah, here, after all, even after reminding myself on video, I still forgot to do it. Again, I'm almost positive that I did not double the cohesion hits. I'm pretty sure that I put 2 cohesion hits on that unit because it was a 2 cohesion hit result from the what do they actually call it? The shock combat table. Now I should have doubled that. Yeah, that's a medium defense infantry unit, crossbow unit there. Medium defense. It's being charged by cavalry that has equal to or higher armor class, and so those charging cavalry are going to cause twice the number of cohesion hits, which would have routed the unit. 4 hits with a cohesion rating of 4. Not to mention it's already disrupted, so then you would have gone through that process. So that unit was eliminated. So for all that, for that opening charge, basically they Braccio's first cavalry line there, the first squadron of Baglioni's battaglia, succeeded in routing that first line of enemy crossbowmen. Okay, I think I will pick up now where I left off. So with the first squadron done, we can move to the second squadron, Ruggiero's squadron there. I don't see much more to do. I mean, I think they want to move up and keep the battaglia more or less consolidated. What's the only problem here, I guess, as a matter of fact, I won't do that. I won't move the foot first, but the foot are going to start falling behind. They have a movement allowance of 3, not printed on the counter. That's on the play aid. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, I'll go in order. So then I actually, again, I identify the unit. I'm giving that individual unit a move order. I'm going 1 down. I'm moving the order points marker 1 down on the order points track to the side, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then next 1, 2, 3. That's another order point, move order, costs an order point, and then 1, 2, 3. Now, obviously, the mounted units can move 5, not printed on the counter, but they're going to stay with the infantry. 1, 2, 3, and then Baglione. Baglione can move, I think, with any of his units, any of his squadrons. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll see. So I think Baglioni's done. So I think we're going to go to, okay, so to pick up with the sequence of play again, the second squadron has activated now, is done issuing orders and taking actions. There are no shot combats to resolve for that couple squadra. Now, the next step is all fired markers are removed from crossbow units. And then finally, if allowed by the rules, the active player rolls to augment their VL's victory level. That's funny. It's not in the glossary. Well, obviously I'm not going to be concerned with victory levels now, but that is the final step of the condottiero sequence. So now we pick up with, now I think we leave Baglione marked first activation only because the same condottiero cannot be activated twice in a row. Is that correct? So then why is there a second side? So limits of activations of condottieri. A single condottiero may be activated a maximum of 2 times in a row. That's why it has a second side. Okay, so a maximum of 2 times in a row using basic activation, continuum, or interruption. Okay. But actually there's an exception for the Braccio school, so make sure we don't miss anything important there. Okay, it's all very clear now. So the Braccio school says that Braccio's condottieri cannot attempt a second activation. So that is important to, and that's a basic rule. So now I'm going back to the general course of play, and after a basic activation, which is what we just did there, then we go to a continuum activation at the end of the step. At the end of that first basic activation, basically, the active player may try a further activation with the just activated condottiero or another condottiero or pass. So an exception to this is that we cannot use the just activated condottiero for Braccio's side. Okay. But the Braccio player can try to activate another condottieri. That's by the Brescia school. But now I wonder if there's a scenario limit, though. Okay, I'm just going to exercise the general course of play here. I don't think that there is I think that the scenario-specific activation issues for Braccio's side have already been satisfied there with Baglioni. Okay, so now we go to, so we do have the Braccio side continuum activation. He's definitely not going to pass. So he chooses another condottieri. Okay. So I guess, so Braccio has his 2 caposquadra, and over here, oh yeah, he has his 2. Okay, so all 3 of the battaglia on Braccio's side have 2 caposquadra. Okay, so I'll just go for the other flank. Well, actually, for them to get to their targets, they have to cross that stream. Well, they'll do it anyways. At least activate the rules. So, and I'm going to exercise everything. So they're going to try to continue. They're going to try to get a continuum activation, and the other side. I still haven't figured out what the other side's called, but the anti-Braccio side are going to try to interrupt, if possible. I say if possible by the scenario rules. All right, there are battle-specific rules, and I am going to try to follow them. Okay, so the other side is the Malatesta side. So Malatesta has some serious limitations. All of Malatesta's battaglia. How many are we talking about? I see 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 battaglia versus 3 battaglia. Braccio's side just has the advantage of 2 capo squadra per battaglia. Okay. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. I guess I could just look on the activation track, right? Okay. All of Malatesta's battaglia start the game inactive. So they're all inactive, whatever that means. They are activated by a basic activation if an enemy unit comes adjacent to one of the battaglia's units, or by heat table, okay? Malatesta's condottieri can never try a continuum. Okay, so they're activated if an enemy unit comes adjacent to one of the battaglia's units. So does that, in the most basic sense, I guess that doesn't that mean that this battaglia is active, is activated? Yeah, I think so. So what happens? Okay, so I'm quickly putting together things, and this is to exercise rules. And I'm not sure this quick interpretation is entirely correct. However, to exercise rules, I'm going to have Braccio. I was going to have him pass because I thought pass might be a good tactical decision, but throw that out. For rules exercise, I want to activate Braccio. Now his his command rating there is 12, so I'm supposed to roll 2 dice, and if it's equal to or less than that rating, he gets the continuum, but that would make it seem like it's an automatic success, okay? However, by the way, I don't see any DRMs for the activation track. However, then there's the issue of the heat table, which I guess is just for this battle. So each time a player tries an interruption or a continuum, so this would be a continuum, the die roll result, and the die roll result is the same or more than the number in the box the heat counter is in, move the counter 1 box ahead. So that, even though I think Braccio's activation is automatic, I would think that I would still need to roll, because I'm still comparing it to that number in the heat. So same or more than the number, okay. This was a very low roll of 4. I will show the heat table. Now it's upside down. Well, in the first box on the heat table, which is labeled start, there's a 6. So if it's 6 or higher, I would have moved that box up. And as you go up the track, there are actual heat table effects, which are printed on the side of the map. And they don't start, okay. You have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 before you get the first heat effect. Okay. So I imagine you would still roll to work the heat table. But in this case, so I think Braccio, which by the way, I'm immediately moving his counter down 1 to the 11 because he continued here. So he gets a continuum, and the heat table does not go up. And finally, just one more thing. So if Braccio activates, can Malatesta do an interruption? Okay. Yeah, a bit of confusion. First of all, a bit of confusion has set in. 2, there's some language in those rules that seems to be possibly the source of the confusion. And 3, I remember reading about this on Consim World Forum, and I can't remember what the resolution was. Okay, if all of Malatesta's battaglia start inactive, and if Pergola here, if Pergola is now active because Braccio's units came adjacent, then, see, here's the language. They are activated by a basic activation, comma, if an enemy unit comes adjacent, etc., etc., etc. What is they are activated by a basic activation? And setting that aside, well, no, not setting that aside. Given that, does that mean that they can't do an interruption? I would find it hard to believe that once they're activated, they can't do an interruption. I know I'm going to go for that, and I know when I get an opportunity, I'll get back to Consum World, because I remember this being an ongoing discussion, and I thought there was resolution to it. But bottom line is, Braccio had his continuation. The Malatesta side chose Pergola to interrupt. This is something that I, as a designer, would not allow an interruption by a commander who has essentially nothing to do with the unit anyways. Opinion aside, they rolled a 7, which is easily less than Pergola's 10. So now I assume, okay, so we're going to go with Pergola's Condottiero sequence. The thing we have to remember, of course, is that when we're done, Malatesta does not get a continuation, because Malatesta's Condottieri can never try continuation.